Tis Monday, Monday, Monday. Even though that song, I think well, probably not. It's an oldie. It's called Monday, Monday, da-da, or something like that. That's how it goes. Anyway, I don't know where that came from, other than it's Monday. Right now we're listening to NF, Leave Me Alone, and yeah, it's Monday. So, we're gonna read chapter 6. Yes, chapter 6 of Reaper Adventures Imprisonment. I really do say that way too cheerfully. I said that last week, but I'm saying it again. That's cheerful. Like, I really say that very cheerfully. Anyway, moving on. Don't bring your kids. Don't bring your kids at all. It's not kid-friendly. It's for mature audiences only. I mean, no sex scenes, no curse words, no anything like that. But there is a scene, possibly more than one scene of torture, mentions of torture, slaughter of angels by another angel. I say slaughter because it's kind of what it is more than murder. So slaughter of angels by another angel. You meet 3 other characters who you seriously don't want to meet in the middle of the night, and the eventual escape from Eden's prison. So, yeah. This is not kind of a violent chapter. This is not a violent chapter. However, there is a little bit of a blood drinking, because the demon nearly gets burned in hellfire. Because, well, he strengthened the seals that make up his cell to the point where they nearly kill him, so he nearly gets burned in hellfire, and he has to drink blood in order to make sure he doesn't die. So that's this chapter. You have been warned. So we are now going to continue. We're on chapter 6. Continuing. Chapter 6. Payne woke the following morning to horrible, dull, throbbing pain in his back. I would not move, an unfamiliar male voice, told Payne as he attempted to move. Payne remembered the last time he had tried to move after hearing that warning and reluctantly lay still. He turned his head to look at the individual. He had long, jet-black hair, pale skin, and was tending to Payne's wounds. I don't know if you can actually hear it too well. Ads. Payne glanced at the man's wings and noticed that they were gold in color. Payne watched the man gather some ointment on his hands, move a clump of his hair, and then began to put the ointment on Payne's still wounded back. Ooh, Panic Room by Aura, except there's a slash between the R and the R and the A and the R capital. Anyway, moving on. Ow, Payne said with a grimace. Apologies, Nephilim. It will sting slightly, the unknown male informed Payne. Some warning would have been nice, Payne mumbled, wincing as the ointment continued to be rubbed on his back. If I had warned you that it would sting slightly, would you have let me use it? The unknown male questioned as the slight sting slowly faded, along with the dull, painful throbbing. Probably not, Payne reluctantly admitted. Then why would I tell you? The unknown individual countered as he gently tested to see if the Nephilim was still feeling his wounds. Judging by the Nephilim's lack of reaction by the gentle poking and prodding, he was no longer feeling his wounds. He glanced at the Nephilim, who was obviously confused by the lack of pain. What is it? Payne asked as he looked at the bowl filled with ointment. Herbs. All of them with healing abilities and pain-killing abilities. The unknown person responded, Oh my god, I need some soda. The nectar of the god. Well, it's not coffee, but it's caffeinated and carbonated because it's Mountain Dew. Shamelessly addicted to caffeine. The unknown person responded. Payne glanced at the person and saw that they had gold eyes, as well as gold wings. You're an archangel, aren't you? Payne questioned with a slightly annoyed voice. I am the Archangel Raphael, the Archangel Raphael told Payne. Payne glared at the Archangel Raphael and shifted his attention from the Archangel Raphael to the wall in front of him. The Archangel Raphael had noticed Payne's curious gaze and decided not to mention it. He knew the Nephilim had every reason to be distrustful of any member of the angelic order. He couldn't exactly blame the Nephilim either. The Archangel Raphael put fresh dressings on the Nephilim's back, which was healing nicely. Now that the Nephilim's spiritual energy had been stimulated, the wounds were healing at a much more rapid pace as well. Yeah, we gotta add that word in, but anyway. I will check your wounds when night falls, the Archangel Raphael said as he stood up. Payne made a frustrated sound, but made no objections. The Archangel Raphael left Payne's cell and glanced at the demon inside of his cell. The Archangel Raphael couldn't help feeling like something was wrong. The demon was too still and far too quiet. The Archangel Raphael cautiously entered the demon's cell, after carefully considering his options, as well as the possibility that this might be a trap. It wasn't a trap, though. The Archangel Raphael realized that when the demon didn't attack. The Archangel Raphael noticed that the demon's skin appeared to have cracked, and small, painful-looking flames seemed to emerge on occasion from the demon's cracked skin. The Archangel Raphael instantly knew what was happening. The demon hadn't set any trap. He was currently fighting the urge to burn to ash, which would mean his death if he burned. Yeah, like I said, hellfire kind of makes things burn very painfully, so I would assume it is hellfire. So, moving on. The Archangel Raphael took the demon and brought him out of the cell, dismissing the chain of seals that wrapped around the demon's neck. The demon's eyes flickered open for a few seconds as he attempted to focus on the Archangel Raphael. I don't have a permit, Toyota, go away. The Archangel Raphael attempted and failed to remember what a dying demon needed to eat so the hellfire wouldn't consume them. I'm not interested in the... Oh my gosh. Shoot. Ads, sorry. Icon for Hire Off With Her Head. Actually a very good song. Highly recommend. Remember what a dying demon needed to eat so the hellfire wouldn't consume them and kill them. He remembered as the hellfire turned from orange and red to a blue flame. A demon who was dying needed blood. Fresh human blood. If they normally fed on pain and fear, that is. The Archangel Raphael hoped that this demon ate both pain and fear, however he had no idea where to get fresh human blood. Is he okay? The Nephilim asked from his cell. The Archangel Raphael looked at the Nephilim. Why is he on fire? The Nephilim inquired. Hellfire. The Archangel Raphael corrected. Whatever, it's fire, and it's coming out of his skin, the Nephilim stated. Why? He repeated. He is dying. The Archangel Raphael reluctantly replied with a sigh. What does he need? The Nephilim questioned after a slight pause. Damn, there's a lot of the, and Archangel Raphael, and the Nephilim, and the demon. Gosh. Anyway, moving on. Fresh human blood if he normally eats pain and fear, the Archangel Raphael answered. Check to both. Would my blood work? The Nephilim asked. The Archangel Raphael blinked and studied the Nephilim with shock. Possibly. The Archangel Raphael cautiously said, You have angelic blood in your veins as well, though, he added. So? I have human blood too, which makes me human. Human enough, anyway. The Nephilim reminded the Archangel Raphael with a shrug, and forgive me, I burped. The Archangel Raphael debated the options presented and made a quick decision based on what the Nephilim had informed him of, and was correct about. The Archangel Raphael removed the Nephilim from his cell and created a wound on the Nephilim's wrists, holding the Nephilim's right wrist against the demon's mouth. Oh my gosh, my hair's getting too long. For me, anyway. Payne wasn't sure if this was going to work, especially when a small trickle of his blood slowly fell from the corner of the demon's mouth. By now, Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order had arrived, and the Archangel Raphael had explained the current situation. She had left to retrieve another angelic being that was apparently named Seal Master Cassiel. Not Castiel, in case you guys are wondering, it's Cassiel. There's no T, it's just two S's. Derived from Castiel, and Castiel is derived from Cassiel, so fuck off, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, and forgive the potty mouth. Moving on. Payne was about to withdraw his wrist when he felt the demon's fangs graze against his nearly healed wound. And I don't care about a goddamn bra. Sorry, ads. Anyway. Graze against his nearly healed wound, and then the demon's fangs sank into his Payne's wrist. Ooh, New Year's Day, kill or be killed. Also highly recommend. Payne couldn't help the cry of pain and surprise that escaped from him. Moving on. Payne noticed that the demon didn't have only the upper canines that were elongated and extremely sharp. His two bottom canines, these teeth here are canines, go for, were also extremely sharp and elongated as well, though not as much as his upper canines. I say that because in vampire movies they get the incisors to be the fangs, but the fangs would be here, not here. Anyway, moving on. The Archangel Raphael had turned his attention from the strengthened seals that made up the demon cell to Payne when he heard the Nephilim's faint and startled yelp. Payne wasn't quite sure if he should be feeling relieved that the demon was going to continue living, or if he should be experiencing fear that the demon could possibly kill him. The combination of the conflicting emotions was certainly enough to let Payne know that this probably hadn't been the best idea. No, probably not. Actually, that seems like a really bad idea, but moving on. With that realization, the fear won over the relief, and Payne wasn't sure if he should let the demon continue drinking his blood. Payne knew for a fact that this idea really hadn't been a good idea to begin with. That revelation brought agony, as Payne felt as if something was being ripped from him. Yeah. Something Payne wasn't sure what it might be, but whatever it was, Payne wasn't willing to relinquish it. In the Fallen Ascension series on my Wattpad account, you actually learn what this something is that's kind of being sort of ripped from him. But anyway, Payne barely managed to hold back his scream. He wasn't able to hide the fact he no longer wanted the demon to drink his blood, as he attempted to remove his wrist from the demon's mouth. The more Payne struggled, the stronger the sensation of something trying to rip something from Payne became. There we go, gotta add that. Payne couldn't help trying in vain efforts to remove his bleeding wrist. All he knew he could do now was to make sure whatever was trying to forcibly remove whatever from Payne wouldn't succeed, even if fighting to keep the something in Payne caused the anguish to become overwhelming and excruciating. It felt like an eternity before the demon removed his fangs from Payne's wrist. Payne didn't notice at first. Oh, we're almost done already? What? He didn't notice when he was carried back to his cell. He only realized the sensation of horrible, excruciating pain subsided, and it no longer felt like someone was trying to take something away from him. The Archangel Raphael was tending to Payne's mangled and still bleeding wrist. The demon's teeth had torn through Payne's skin, muscles, and tendons like a hot knife through butter. I gotta add that hot word, because, yeah. Anyway, Payne's vein was exposed, as was small glimpses of his bones. Yep. Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order had made sure to restrain the demon, incapacitating him and making sure he wouldn't be able to move or speak. And I almost said Payne with Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order, so forgive that, please. I'm not exactly entirely on my A game, so sorry about that. He was glaring with fury at Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order, hating the chains of Enochian seals wrapped around his wings, arms, wrists, ankles, throat, and even his tail. Oh, this is a remake of Don't Fear the Reaper. This is a really good one. I like it a lot. So I'm going to turn it up. Yeah. He couldn't speak either due to the silencing seal over his mouth. All he could do to express his displeasure was to glare with absolute contempt. And yeah, blah blah. His attempts to move had only resulted in him looking like a wiggling, writhing worm. He didn't like looking like a worm either. Yes, correction, I got it right this time. Like I said, I'm not entirely on my A game. Please forgive me. Considering he wasn't a worm. So, looking like a worm when he moved was infuriating. It was even more aggravating with Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order watching him to make sure he somehow wouldn't manage to escape from the Enochian chains. It was bad enough that trying to move resulted in movements that resembled a worm. It's kind of repetitive in this paragraph. I might have to change that up, but we'll continue. It was even worse that a being of any order had witnessed the worm-like movements. So he had decided that not moving was the best option, as well as giving Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order a glare of absolute fury. She seemed used to his glares, though. This fact was becoming clearer to the demon as the Archangel Raphael finished healing the Nephilim's wrist and emerged from the Nephilim's cell. Will he live? Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order asked the Archangel Raphael. He will live. His soul remains intact within his body as well. Oh, I forgot to mention yet, this kind of adds blah blah blah. Anyway, moving on. The Archangel Raphael answered, glancing at the demon. The demon, who was watching Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order with a thoughtful stare. The demon is watching you. Excuse me, Albert. It's gotta be the soda. The Archangel Raphael told Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order. Glaring is the proper term, more than likely. Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order said with a sigh. The Archangel Raphael studied the demon, who was now watching him with a thoughtful expression. He is not glaring at any of us. The Archangel Raphael informed Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order with mild worry. Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order gave the Archangel Raphael a confused glance and then turned her attention to the demon, fully expecting a glare of loathing, because that's what he normally gives. Yeah. Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order saw the demon's pensive stare and felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. A small amount of fear entered her and settled like a stone in her stomach. She knew the demon sensed it. She knew he knew the reason for it. Demons, though none had survived Eden's prison, were considered dangerous for good reasons. No demon who had been in Eden's prison had ever had enough sense to actually think of the situation they had been in. Yeah. Now the demon chained before Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order was not only more dangerous and powerful than the demons that were here before him, this demon was obviously considering the limited options he had. This, to Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order, made this demon much more dangerous and deadly than she had originally thought. We're going to turn that down now. Not that down. Moving on. Sorry for all the wibble wobbling and everything. She decided that keeping a closer eye on the demon was necessary. After a while, the demon was placed back in his cell. The seals had been weakened enough, and the wounds that had caused the seals to strengthen had been tended to. Ooh, good one. Hi, Missy, what you up to? Hi, it's my kitty. She calls for me. Hey, that no scratchy post? That no scratchy post? Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order made sure the Keeper of Peace Nile was posted outside the door of the demon cell, while the Keeper of Peace Anala was outside the door of the Nephilim cell. Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order studied the demon. I was saying "oh" to my cat, in case any of you were wondering. Princess Ariel of the Angelic Order studied the demon, who was no longer immobile or silenced, with quiet consideration, as he paid her no mind. She decided that whatever fear she was feeling was not ill-founded, as he watched the Keeper of Peace Nile with a blank expression. She would have to report this to the creators, and hope the day of the trial for both the Nephilim and the demon would be moved. And we're on the last page, the last little part, so yay. She did not need or want the possible destruction of the Keeper of Peace Nile or his sister on her conscience. And that is the end of chapter 6, which actually is pretty ironic. In chapter 6 in book 1, it was started on page 66, and chapter 6 in book 2, it ends on page 66. I'm noticing a freaking pattern here. Anyway, moving on, that was the end of chapter 6. Chapter 7 is next week, and I mentioned my Wattpad account, which is at Tempesta771. I have other accounts, which I definitely need to add to, but moving on to say these things. I have my TikTok account, which is at AirJohnCraven2, under the name Tempesta Braveheart. The at AirJohnCraven2 has no uppercases and no spaces. I have an Instagram, which is Tempesta Braveheart, no uppercases, no spaces, under the name Airjohn Craven, which is my Facebook. But if you're really creepy or weird, or yeah, anyway, I will block you if you're creepy and weird, and I mean like weird in a creepy way when I say weird, but moving on, yeah. I will try to accept your friend request if I don't know you, but if you're really kind of creepy, I'm gonna block you. I have a Snapchat. Ooh, I'm really getting the hang of that word. Woo! I don't know why it was such a mumbleation to me before, but I have a Snapchat, which is also under the name Airjohn Craven. No uppercases, no spaces, and you're watching my YouTube, which is under the name Tempesta Braveheart. And yeah, chapter 7 will be next Monday. Chapter 6 is complete. And yeah, I'm going to have some wonderful Nectar of the Gods, which is just any caffeinated drink. Whoever argues just doesn't like to be caffeinated. And they're totally missing out. Oh my god, that's so wonderful. Anyway, chapter 7 next week. Chapter 6 is done. So peace out, Girl Scouts, and enjoy the mental hilarity.